The question is that the motion be agreed to. Melissa Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for the opportunity to take a call on the Commerce Supermarket Adjudicator and Code of Conduct Amendment Bill. And I congratulate the member for having her member's bill drawn from the ballot, as members' bills are pretty difficult, as some of us know. Some of us have actually had bills in the ballot for many, many years and still haven't had the opportunity to have a first reading. Yes, Mr. Bakshi, you were very lucky. You got it very first up, but I'm still waiting for my turn to actually have my bill read. So this bill is to amend the Commerce Act of 1986 to require that a supermarket adjudicator is in fact established to resolve disputes between supermarkets and suppliers. And I guess the position of this adjudicator would have the power to enforce a code of conduct on supermarkets and force them to pay a levy towards mediation services with suppliers where disputes actually occur. And the only thing that I can actually see that will actually do is to increase the prices of products that we actually buy from supermarkets. I can't imagine the grocery shops or supermarkets actually saying, okay, we will actually pay for the levy, we're forced to do so, and we're not going to pass on the cost to the consumers. And that's all I see. I will take the opportunity now to say that I see no reason for this legislation to continue. I don't see it necessary, sir. The Commerce Commission already undertakes the functions of a regulatory body tasked with addressing issues of anti-competitive or dominant market powers in New Zealand, sir. By creating a second agency that Ms. Mathers is actually proposing, I just see a doubling of authority. And I see that it is completely unnecessary. So this bill is particularly aimed at two leading supermarket-owning companies, Progressives and Woolworths, that provide groceries and goods to hundreds of thousands of New Zealanders all over the country. The Commerce Commission have already reviewed and examined these companies from time to time where concerns have been raised. And most notably, a review was undertaken due to a recent complaint that one of the companies had breached the Fair Trading and Commerce Act, which Ms. Mathers alluded to earlier. As a part of that investigation, the Commerce Commission has not said it needs additional tools to undertake its commendable work protecting the markets. And the government believes that it has ample resources to continue its task and does not need what Ms. Mathers is actually proposing in her bill. So it has always been an expectation of the government that all companies deal in a fair and transparent manner, and that's what we all want as consumers. This is a case where there are dominant business partners in the market or smaller low-end supplier. Where they do not, the Commerce Commission has the necessary tools and resources to investigate, and if necessary, they can actually take action. It can be seen that supermarket industry is regulating itself without the need for a mandatory code of conduct. Supermarkets, like any other company, know it is bad business to undertake unsound commercial practices. They know that just as they need to keep consumers happy, they also need to look after their supply lines. They maintain their own standards without the need for further regulation, sir. I mean, you know, having had a business where we used to supply grocery shops with imported goods from overseas, it is often very difficult to break into that market, and sometimes it seems like it's like climbing Mount Everest, because you're, not you, Mr. Speaker, but the business is in competition with other businesses to break into that supermarket chain because you want to show that you've got a good product. But the supermarkets, they have many, many choices. And what they do is that often they are in tune to the trends of the market. They know that what is popular with consumers, and so they will buy what is popular and what will sell at their supermarkets. And I think they will get it at the most. They'll get the best products for the best prices, and often suppliers want to do that too, because by being at the supermarket shelves, they are reaching more people than if they do it themselves from their little, I don't know, shared manufacturing in their home, sorry? Foursquare, yes, there's another option. And there's often, there are many people who actually have choices. Consumers too have choices. They don't have to go to supermarkets. And there are many places in New Zealand where people buy their fruits, fresh fruit, from the markets. The Grey Lynn markets is actually a good example. Farmers markets is actually a good example. And, and many of us use that option, and they don't always go to the supermarket. And yesterday, on Monday, actually, I wanted to cook fish. And instead of going to the supermarket, I went to the local fish shop in where I live. And I think that was actually a really, really good, it is consumers' choice to do so. And I think the supermarket industry, as I said, regulate themselves to provide the best possible produce for the consumers. And I do not believe that this adjudicator is necessary. Sir, just in additional to the substantial defects in the policy rationale of Ms. Mather's bill actually contains some fundamental technical errors, I think. And what she's actually saying is the designated supermarket chain and the supermarket could exclude foodstuffs 700 owner-operated supermarkets, sir. And under this bill, the adjudicator does not have a clear means of efficiently dealing with complaints. So, just to make it very short, I do not think it's necessary. I will not be supporting this bill.